I'm Nigel, and I've got no idea what I'm doing. Today, suspension. I was lucky enough to pick up a slightly used set of suspension from a later model MX5 on Gumtree. Replacing the suspension is, in theory, a relatively easy job, involving removing the top shock mounts as well as the bolt holding the bottom of the shock to what is known as the lower arm. At first, based on some dodgy advice from a YouTube video, we tried to lower the suspension to remove the strut. However, this quickly proved impossible, so we moved on to Plan B, also known as the correct way, which required the removal of a few more nuts and bolts. Some of these bolts were, well, extremely hard to remove, but I'll spare you the details and most of the swearing. That might be easier. Alright, so Nico, you want to do the honour? Hang on, I might as well take this nut off. Take that there. Once we had everything off and the suspension arms lowered, we could finally remove the strut. So I'll take... Now, fingers. No, what do you need? You need fingers. Pop that in so you can get up to the...
5 hours later.
Okay, you should be able to lift it up. Well, in theory, we could finally remove it. How much bit? I'll go down a bit. How much bit?
Many unbearable hours later.
I can't better I can give you. Yeah, probably we got this one. Yeah, I'm tilting it. Hey! It's a boy! One done, 3 more to go. Getting the new strut in was a little bit easier given we had learnt a trick or two, and that getting nuts and bolts on a few hours later is easier than getting them off after 30 years. Are you good? Yeah, I'm good. I'm in exactly the wrong spot. That guy.
You probably also need a jack to get that position.
It should be the top one, surely. So, in the time I had at first thought it would take to do the whole job, we had done just a single corner. The cake of the day today? Apricot. It didn't last too long. Back on the tools, and figuring we had sorted out our technique, we started work on the front left. Again, I'll save you the details, but this one was even harder than the first. It was only through Dad's experience and inventiveness that we finally managed to sort it all out. The back suspension had no problems and was sorted out nice and quickly. What a day.
Early the next morning.
The last thing to do was tighten all the nuts and bolts to the correct tightness using a tool called a torque wrench, which makes a very specific sound. Alrighty, new suspension's in. It was a bit of a job, but we got it done. We'll see how it looks once we get some miles on it and it beds down, and once we've got those new fenders fitted. Hopefully that's next week.